If you run a business built on your knowledge or expertise and you want YouTube to bring you the easiest to work with and most qualified clients you've ever had, this is the exact system that makes that possible. Now here's the thing, most business owners either ignore YouTube completely or they try it, they get discouraged by low views, and they quit. Both groups are missing the point here. The channels making millions aren't the ones with the most subscribers. They're just the ones with the specific lead capture loop that's running behind the scenes in your videos. And this makes money whether you have 500 subscribers or 500,000. So today I'm gonna show you the complete system that I call the YouTube lead loop. It's the strategy behind how expertise-based businesses are quietly pulling in millions from YouTube without having to have massive audiences or go viral. And I'm also gonna reveal the secret step that's gonna take your lead capture rate from about 1 to 2% all the way up to 20%. So let's check out how it all works. Now for businesses built on expertise, I'm talking coaches, consultants, course creators, therapists, bookkeepers, whoever, YouTube is a search engine, which means people are actively typing in problems they need solved, and if your video answers that problem, you just got in front of someone who's already looking for what you do. For that reason, your channel, especially in your first year or so, should be 100% focused on creating what I call magnet videos. And these all need to be focused on a specific problem or result, and they need to be searchable. And there should also be a straight line between the problems your videos solve and the main problem that you solve as a business. So an AI consultant could make a video about how to create the right AI strategy for your business, or an online business coach might make a video about how to choose the right side hustle, or an SEO provider could make videos about how to make sure you rank #1 on Google. In other words, every video is a direct extension of the business itself. So if there's no clear connection between what your videos teach and what you sell, the rest of the system falls apart before it even starts. In some of your videos, about 1 in 4 I would say, they should include a specific call to action that moves people off of YouTube to the next phase in the system. And where you put that CTA matters more than you think. Most people drop it right at the very end, but by that point, you've already lost around 80% of your audience. So putting it at the beginning doesn't really work either because you haven't earned any trust here yet. So the sweet spot is right after your first main teaching point. You know, once you've delivered enough value to get some buy-in. That is your trust bridge. The moment where you've built just enough credibility that pointing them somewhere else feels like a natural next step, not like a sales pitch. And then your trust bridge sends them to the capture page. And this doesn't need to be complicated. The simpler the better usually. That's the beauty of YouTube, because by the time someone clicks through, they've already been watching you teach them for 10 minutes or so. So the trust is pre-built. All you really need is a clear headline that promises a direct result that they want, and a simple form where they just enter in their email address and then they click the little button and that's it. So when someone enters their email on the capture page, it triggers an automated handoff email. But here's where things get interesting, because what the handoff delivers is not going to be just another PDF guide or an ebook. Instead, the handoff sends them to a simple interactive tool, what I call a micro app. People, plug in their own information and then they get something back that is specific to them and they actually come back to use it again. It does a job for them, right? One they were probably already trying to do on their own, just slower and worse. Now, this is actually your biggest edge right now because most of the established names in your space haven't caught on to this strategy yet, right? They're still dropping the same stale lead magnets in their description and moving on. But if you can show up with a tool that actually does something useful, you immediately come across as way more credible, more generous, and more forward-thinking than channels with 10 times your audience. And that gap won't last forever, but right now it's still wide open. And before you panic, let me tell you, this is actually a lot easier than you probably think it is. You are not building a whole app here, right? Think of it like you're building one useful action that's wrapped in a simple interface. So if you can't describe your tool as, it takes X and gives me Y, start over. Now, To find your idea here for your micro app, you just want to ask yourself, what annoying thing does my ideal client already do manually and badly? What part of it feels dumb, slow, or repetitive? That's your micro app idea. And we're going to be using AI to make the whole thing for you. So if you've ever heard of the term vibe coding, where you just have an idea and you let AI run with it, that's what we're going to be doing here. So I built this one in about 10 minutes with nothing more than just a description of what I wanted. The AI handled every other part, and it actually works. And I'm not the only one. Sabrina Romanov, she's an AI consultant. She built a quick quiz app that analyzes how you're currently using AI and gives you a personalized action plan. Now, that micro app got her 37,000 leads in 90 days. Or Tom Blake, he's a freelancing coach, build a tool that matches you to your ideal side hustle based on your skills and schedule. He built it in just one weekend for under 50 bucks. And Tim Metz at the content agency Animals built a calculator where you just plug in a few numbers about your website and instantly see how much search traffic you could be getting. And that app answers his prospect's biggest question before moving them into a sales conversation. But here is where the loop part actually comes into the system. And it's kind of the secret to this really working for you. So it's one thing to just kind of mention your tool in passing during a video, like, oh, by the way, I built this app that's going to help you, go grab it in the description. That might convert like 1 to 2% of your viewers, maybe. But to hit 10 to 20%, you got to go one step further with this. So what you want to do is make using the micro app the focus of the video itself. In other words, you turn this video into a tutorial where you show how the tool works, how easy it is, what kind of results that you can get from it. So the demo is the content. And then the video drives them to the capture page, which captures their email, and then the handoff sends them to the micro app. And the video was about the micro app all along. So every piece feeds into the next. Okay, but now let me show you how to actually build one of these yourself, even if you have zero technical skills. So the first thing to get started is to actually get access to my custom GPT I made, the micro app engine. This is going to help you brainstorm exactly what your idea should be. So I put a link to the description below. Once you've got your access to this, we're going to go ahead and you're just going to do exactly what it says. You're just going to tell it as much about your business and about your ideal customer as you possibly can. So spend 10 to 20 minutes here, just kind of really dialing in everything about your business, everything about your customer, the problems they have, all that kind of stuff. So it's going to have a good idea where to go from here. So I just did something right here for a career coach. So, you can see here, it's very unstructured. It's just kind of more stream of consciousness. That's fine. Just say everything you got to say. You're going to let it run. You're going to click this button here. And from there, it's probably going to have some questions for you. That's how we designed it, so that it's going to be really helpful for your exact people. So here it has 3 questions it's asking, but it's giving some guidance here, right? Which is how it's supposed to go. So read through it, just talk to it like you would if it was a real person helping you. I'm just going to tell it it's a test and to make something up here, but you would actually go through the exercise of answering this. And we'll let that run. Okay, so it came up with the main problem that this micro app is going to solve, which is teaching these freelancers, what do I charge? They're not sure. So we're not going to read through all this, but then now, here are all the ideas that it's giving us. So we have an income reality rate calculator, shows them the minimum project rate required to hit their income goal. So that's one idea. We have a project profit checker. So I'm not going to go through all these again, but what you're going to want to do is just go through all 5 options that it gives you and just ask yourself, which of these 5 is going to make my clients' lives the easiest? And what do they probably want the most? And I think number 5 sounds good for our purposes here. So I'm just going to say, I like 5. And then if we scroll down here, it's going to have some more questions for you. It's asking me like if I have brand colors, what the vibe is. So you can either tell it that, or you can just say it doesn't really matter. For the purposes of this, it doesn't really matter all that much what it looks like. It's all about the utility and how it works for people. But go ahead and answer these if you want to. I'm going to say just make it calm and modern. Okay, so now we get to what we call the logic validation phase. So this is where it's going to ask you the exact information that it's going to need in order to be a useful tool for people. So it's going to ask you things like what you charge possibly, or what your strategies are, that kind of thing. So it's going to use all of that inside of the app to give people the best outcome, which is just going to be a lot better than if it's making it up on its own. So it's got to come from you. So you just answer everything truthfully. I'm just going to tell it it's a test again. Okay, so after you've put in all that information and it has enough to go on, now's the fun part because it's giving you all this code. Don't worry, you don't have to know what any of it means. That's the cool part. We're just going to go to this link right here. This is the tool we're going to use to build it. It's called Hostinger Horizons. It's their AI tool and it works really well. It's based off of Gemini and ChatGPT, so it's using all the best coding models under the hood. And when you click that link, the link's also in the description below, you're going to get a 10% coupon applied. So it's going to be the best deal for you. So we're going to click on Start Now. Now you've got a few package options here. I like this one the most. You could go with the cheapest option. That's only going to give you one website or one app in our case. It's also not going to give you a free domain. In other words, a URL, a link you can point people to that looks branded and doesn't look just like a, long spammy string of characters. So you get the free domain with this plan, and you also get the benefit of being able to make multiple apps. Imagine if you didn't just have one, but you had like 3 or 4 or 5 for different uses. You could really build your business a lot faster that way. So, but it's up to you. You're probably not going to need either of these. I'm going to click on the starter plan. Okay, now you've got the option of 1 or 12 months. I would just do 12 because then you get the discount for longer, and you'll see my coupon codes applied here. We're going to click on continue. Now you're just going to go through the buying process, put in all of your information and all that good stuff. Then you're going to get to the step where it's going to ask you to choose your method of building. We're going to go to Hostinger Horizons. Okay, so here is where we're going to put in that prompt. So we're going to go back to ChatGPT and we're just going to copy the entire piece of code here. And we're just going to paste the entire thing in right there. Now, other things you can do that are interesting, if you want to click on upload images, you can actually find apps that are out there already that you like the look of, and you can attach it here, and it's going to do a fairly good job of kind of matching the styles. It won't be exact, but it's going to be close. Just make sure that in your directions here, you specify that you want it to do that with the attached image. Okay, so now we're going to let it run and see what it gives us back for our first version of this. Okay, so now it's coming back with telling you what it's going to build, and it's going off to work. So the cool thing about getting all of your prompting from ChatGPT is it eliminates the need for you to burn through your credits, right? With the plan that we went with, the starter plan, you get 70 credits, which is, a credit is basically one conversation or request with the AI. So this way we get a whole first draft with just 1 credit, which is pretty cool. So now let's see what it's going to make us. Okay, so this is what it gave us back right out of the box, and I think it's pretty good. Like, it looks really nice and clean. So basically someone's able to just go in and put in all of their own numbers for their business, and then it's going to calculate what they should be charging, which I think is pretty cool. And I could see this if I were a freelance business coach on YouTube. I could see making a video about how to know what to charge, and then you use this as the basis of your video. I think that could be really cool. So let's just go ahead and see what it does here. And it gives us these 3 different price points you should be charging at, like it said it was going to do. Then if you change this, it kind of changes that along with it. So it's pretty cool, right? And if you want to change anything about it, what it looks like, I would just say add a dark mode toggle and change the green to purple. So it's as easy as just asking, and then we'll see what it gives us. Okay, so it's done. It did change the green to purple, and then let's see, we got the little toggle here. It goes to dark mode. That's awesome. So, and then if you still need any tweaks, just go ahead and do them. Just chat with it back and forth. And then the last thing you need to do is just click on publish for it to actually go live and be able to, link people out to it. So it's as easy as that. And if you got a free domain, you would just connect it to that, or you could just do a temporary domain if you didn't get that, but that's kind of what the link is going to look like if you do that. But none of this even matters if your videos don't get seen by the right people, in the first place. So I made this video showing you 5 regular businesses that are absolutely blowing up on YouTube right now in 2026, including what they're doing right and how simplicity is actually working in their favor. So click here to see what they're doing so that you can just copy it.